I knew that once God called me to do it, that I was going to do it and I could do it. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Alima and today I'm going to be sharing my kindergarten homeschool curriculum with you. So first, I'm just going to show y'all what I chose for my actual curriculum. Well, actually, I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit about what I did. So it is now May of 2026. Throughout the entire school year, I just used like these posters that you see, printouts, websites, apps, things like that to homeschool my child. Then the conversation came up towards the end of this school year, around now, like, was I going to send my son to school this year or was I not? And I went back and forth about it, but I never felt at peace with the decision to send him. So, I just chose not to send him for next year. He'll be going into first grade next year. And honestly, I feel like this is something that God called me to do. I feel like once I made the decision that I was going to keep him home and homeschool him, I felt at peace with that decision. I didn't feel any back and forth with myself about was I doing the right thing. I knew that once God called me to do it, that I was going to do it and I could do it. So I began to go down the rabbit hole of curriculum. And that if you know me, then you know that when I have an interest or something that I want to do, I'm going to research it till the end of no more research. So that's what I did. And I ultimately decided on the Good and Beautiful for language arts, handwriting, and math. I went with that curriculum because for me, it made the most sense with the open and go concept and like the Charlotte Mason inspired curriculum. That made the most sense for my way of teaching and my son's way of learning. And honestly, I couldn't have made a better choice. Of course, I still watch videos on other curriculum just to see, like, do I think I made the right decision, or going into first grade if I want to change the curriculum. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. Since my son has started this curriculum, I see the difference. And I'm one of those people that if it's not broken, then it don't need to be fixed. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I'm probably just going to stick with this curriculum. I did look into foundations, like Logic of English foundations. And, it's mixed reviews on that. But honestly, on the Good and the Beautiful, there was mixed reviews. And ultimately, I just chose what I felt like made sense for me and my homeschool and me teaching my son. So, yeah, I honestly couldn't have been happier with the decision that I made. I did decide, so I know that it's May. We did just order this curriculum, I want to say either the beginning of this month or last month. I don't even know what month it was. But I'm doing all year long school. So for us, this is basically like summer review. When I looked at the curriculum for my son, most of the things in the first half or more than the first half of the curriculum, he already knew. It was the end half. So he already knew, I don't know if you can see these posters, but he already knew his months of the year, his days of the week, his alphabet, numbers, colors, which is behind this calendar. And I forget what's on the end. I think it's like transportation on the end. And then we were working on, before I got this curriculum, we were working on time, money. He already knew his shapes and he already knew his solar system. So we were working on time and money, which is in the back half of the math curriculum. So for us, it was just like, okay, I'm going to get level K because we need to finish up, obviously, kindergarten year. But also, it would be good review for my son and anything that I didn't necessarily do with him. He knew his letter sounds, but he didn't really know like that there was a such thing as a vowel and a consonant. So I kind of like, that was in the beginning of the language arts book, and we went over that. He picked it up super fast. And he like, okay, let's just dive in, because I feel like, yeah. So let me just show y'all. I keep his curriculum in this little bin. I did get this from, I got this bin from Dollar Tree, honestly. And it just fits everything in like that. In the language arts and literature curriculum, you get the course book, you get the booster cards, and you get the booster books. So let's talk about this first. Oh, well, you don't get this, but I also picked up handwriting, which I would consider to be a part of language arts. So we're going to talk about this one too. So let's talk about language arts first. So for us, like I said, if you see, I got tabs in here because we're just going through this book. And for the most part, he picks things up. What I do is I do every other day. We'll do so basically Monday through Friday is how I homeschool. Monday we'll do 1 lesson in language arts. Tuesday we'll do 2 lessons. Wednesday 1 lesson. Thursday 2 lessons. Friday 1 lesson. And I did that way because Monday we're coming back from the weekend, so make that a lighter day. Then Tuesday pick it up. Wednesday we're at the halfway point, so it's like, okay, we're ready for the weekend. But he doesn't really even look at school in a negative light, so it's like this really doesn't apply, but I just did this because it made sense for me. So Thursday, heavy day. Friday, we're ready to get school done so we can enjoy the weekend, but not like, oh, we're rushing through it, but just more so like usually Friday is like our day where we'll get a reward or something, so we end up always wanting to get through our lessons so that we can be done. So as you can see, like I said, the lessons are pretty short. They are, it is easy to basically do 2 lessons a day. It would be feasible for us to do that. I just chose not to do that. I chose to do the back and forth thing, but sometimes we may have to do 2 lessons in a day. Like today is Thursday. We weren't supposed to do 2 lessons in language arts today, but I ended up doing 2 lessons just to get us where we want to go, because in math, we do 2 lessons a day, every day. And we are further along in that book just because we do more lessons every day. So we are almost to the, if you can see, unit test. I wrote that up there just to remind myself that next Wednesday he has his unit test for math. So I was trying to put us on the same schedule to where we'd be having that unit test. But then honestly, it probably would be better for him to just have, okay, unit test this day and then unit test on another week. So that's probably what we'll do. I'm not going to go through and flip through this book just because there's plenty of flip through videos that you can go look at. But I mean, it has great material in it. I'll just talk a little bit about the table of contents. Like I told you earlier in the video, vowels were something that I never told him these are vowels. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't know like those are vowels. So vowels was the first lesson we went through, and I was already feeling like, oh wow, I dropped the ball on that one because I didn't tell him these are vowels. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first lesson, and then we went on, and you learn how to how letters make words, reading 2-letter words, spelling 2-letter words, 1-letter words, is and has. Then you have another vowel, part 2, 3-letter words for different parts, and spelling 3-letter words, reading CVC words, adding S at the end, B and D confusion, which my son definitely had B and D confusion. As you can see, we had to do the bat and the donut trick because he was struggling with that for a while. Reading short sentences, sight words, 3-letter spelling 3-letter words, 3-letter words. Then you have a set of sight words again, words that where the S says Z, as in is, as, has, his, those kinds of things. Reading short sentences. We're not actually this far into it, but basically it's a lot. It's a spiral curriculum. So it's basically where you'll work on something for a little while, then you'll move on, then it'll come back up and you'll revisit it. And so for us, I feel like that's been working so far. I don't feel like he has struggled with that. I do feel as though he masters concepts quickly. So I kind of feel like a mastery curriculum he would probably get like bored or frustrated with, just because he's not the kind of kid that wants to do the same thing every day. He wants to do something different, and he wants to, just learn different things every day. So yeah, that it has a lot more. Like I said, I didn't really even touch on everything. There's a whole three more pages of things in here. But a thing that I like about this curriculum is that they touch on different topics within language arts and literature. So they touch on phonics, writing, reading, grammar and punctuation, spelling, literature, geography, and art. Now, writing, I feel like there's definitely some type of writing exercise that he does every day. Grammar and punctuation, we have touched on that, like what periods are, things like that, how you say certain things. Phonics, same thing. Writing is that. Reading, there's a lot of reading stuff in here, spelling, literature, all that. It's all in here. But I did want to touch on really quick, just like I'm just want to pick a random lesson that he did and show you guys how it has independent work at the end. So I'm going to do the lesson that we are going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow. So tomorrow actually is a 2 lesson day, I believe. Tomorrow's Friday. I think I'm gonna have 2 lessons tomorrow. I think I added on a lesson to tomorrow. So this is the lesson we're on lesson 22, and it's reading short sentences. So he'll read each sentence and then match it to the picture. And he can do these words pretty fast. Like, he can read these sentences pretty fast. Then he'll do his independent practice, and he'll read each sentence, and if the sentence matches the picture at the bottom of the page, then he'll color the star along that. So that's his independent practice, where he would do that on his own. Sometimes I do have to help him, but for the most part, he can do that on his own. And then there's also bonus work in here. So like, he could do it says play a reading booster app game or read aloud to the child. So we probably are going to do the booster app. Let me see what I have on my schedule. Yeah, I have the booster game for us tomorrow because we do a read aloud every day. So that's just extra practice. So that is the course book, and it is pretty thick, and it's spiral bound there. And yeah, I absolutely love this curriculum. So far, so good. So these, every day it'll tell you to work on your booster A cards before you start with the lesson. So in here, we just have, this is the beginning, what to do with your child. If they don't have these things mastered, then don't start the course. I started without my son knowing. He knew the sounds that these made. He just didn't know, okay, these are vowels. But we worked on it every day, and he ended up getting that, like A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. It was like a song we made, and he was able to like master that pretty quickly. And now he can tell me the vowels without even thinking. So then you would start on word 1. And you would cover the last word up, and you would have him say like the beginning sound. So like H and A make hat. He would hold it like that. And then you remove your hand from one word, and then he would say t. So it'd be like hat. And then he basically learned to read all of these. Same thing on this page. And then he started to move on to reading these sentences. So every day we work on one of these things. And actually in the course book, let me just show you, there's more than just that in here. Like that is just me touching on different things. This is his first group of sight words that he had to learn, and he picked that up. Then you have more reading sentences. Then this was the words that I told you, S says Z, and then more sentences. And then we are going to be starting on this, I believe this is tomorrow or maybe Monday, where we're going to be starting on more short A sounds, short E sounds, and so on and so forth. So like, there's a whole list of different things in here, but I wanted to show you guys. So in the course book, it will tell you, let me see if I can find it. So it will tell you, so with lesson 19, which we did this sometime this week, I believe, it'll tell you, it'll have like a little target sign, and it says reading booster card target, and it says 8. So basically, if your child hasn't mastered up to card 8, which is this right here, then not to start the lesson. So your child needs to master up to card 8, and it'll say like the number in this top corner. So he had mastered that, and we were able to move on. But then next week, I believe that it's going to tell us not to move on unless we mastered, I believe it's card 10. No, I'm sorry, it might be card 9. It might be either card 9 or 10, I'm not sure, but basically he'll need to have mastered up to this point all of the pages. You don't move on in a booster card until your child has mastered the page. If my son had not mastered all these words, then we wouldn't have been able to move on to 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Like, he had to master doing those words fluently, reading these sentences fluently, knowing these sight words fluently. And it also tells you like ways to practice at the bottom. So they'll tell you like you can read each sight word aloud to the child and have them or her repeat it to you 3 times. You can write the words on an index card and lay them down in a row and have them jump and say the words as they jump. Or you could say a word and then they jump to that word, or you could use like a clean fly swatter and say a word and have the child swat the word. There's like multiple different ways. Like they always give you different ways that you can practice the booster cards. And then on certain pages, when you get done, at the bottom it'll have the child read reading booster A book number 1, I Dig. So he has read, I believe it is up to book number 5, but these are the booster books. They just come in this little box. I'll just keep them in there, and then we just pull them out when I want him to either do it as review or if it tells us to do it in the thing. He read I Dig, he read I Am Wet, he read Pam, We Go, and then today we read The Jet. And this one says on the back that it's words where S is Z, which is what we have been covering this week. So I guess on the back it'll tell you like this CVC words, CVC words with group 1, and CVC word with sight word group 1. Sorry, that's what it said. And then again, we haven't gone on because it hasn't told us yet to start the other books. But if you're here, it tells you like on the back what the story is going to cover. Let's see if I can find one. So when we get to book number 8, on the back it tells you that those are going to be the words that are in group 2 sight words. So yeah, it has like I want to say 20 different books. So the last book is 20. So it has 20 different little books, and they're cute little books. My son enjoys them. He loved the fact, like when he realized he was doing this one day, and then I know my son is like one of those kids, like when he gets something, he gets excited, like he's proud of himself. And so he was reading through, I want to say like the first 2 books, he was reading through them very fluently. And then one day I said to him, I said, you know you're reading, right? And he was like, I'm reading? Really? And I was like, yeah, you're reading, like you're reading books. And he got so excited because he was like, oh, he had learned to read basically. And the reason why I say that is because, just to touch really quick, I'm probably going to touch more on it later on, but I had been using, before I got this curriculum, I had been using the reading.com app with my son. And I feel like when we would do it consistently, he was grasping words, right? He was grasping different words and remembering how to say them and things like that. But honestly, it didn't really stick for him until we did this curriculum. And I don't know if that's like comes from us doing this curriculum consistently or what that's from. I love reading.com. I think it helped my son wonders. Like it did teach him certain words, letter sounds. It was good for letter sounds when he was still learning that. So I absolutely love reading.com. And I just honestly stopped doing it when I started this curriculum, just because I didn't want to put too much in our day, and I wanted the main focus for this summer be to get through this curriculum so that way he could go into 1st grade using that curriculum. And honestly, I mapped it out and it said to do about it says 1.5, but you can't do half of a lesson, so about 2 lessons a day. So I feel like we will be done, and I won't start my new year until September because I start my my school year on a September basis because that's how it was when I was a kid. So basically I've had all of May, June, and July and August to finish this curriculum. And I feel like with the way that we're going right now, we will finish it or we will come very close, which I'm okay with. Like if I have to push back his start date for 1st grade to later in September, I'm okay with that, just because he's still learning. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like once we start that 1st grade curriculum, I feel like that's going to be something that we're probably going to finish early, because I don't know in the 1st grade curriculum, but in the language arts and the math curriculum for level K, I believe there's only 120 lessons in each of those. So I know that we'll be done that. If it is the same, if that has 120 lessons in it as well, then we'll be done that, because like I said, I go through the summer with my kids. So even if I start him in September, middle of September, and then I go into next summer with him, he'll be done that by his second grade year to start second grade. So I'm not really too worried about that. But just double checking really quickly. I know this because I've watched 100 videos on this, but I'm just double checking just to make sure so I'm not giving inaccurate information. Yeah, so there's 120 lessons in the language arts curriculum. They have this handwriting level K book. So I picked that up for him, and he's been doing that, and this is pretty good for him. It's not too much. I used to make him do like full sheets. This is nothing for him. He gets through this pretty quickly. So he does well with that, and I'm happy about that. So now let's touch on the math curriculum, which I need to get out everything for that. So this is the math course book. And like I said, we do 2 lessons in math a day. And that's because everything that we've learned in the beginning of the math course, he already knows, because like I said, I did homeschool him his kindergarten year. This is summer. I want to make sure everybody understands that it is May of 2026. I have homeschooled him all of his kindergarten year. So in 2025, when school started, I homeschooled him up until then, just without a curriculum. So, you know, he knows most of the concepts in this book. And then, like I said, we were actually on time and money when I bought this curriculum. So I just ended up stopping just because I feel like if this is going to touch on that, then I'd rather get through this curriculum to make sure he has the review he needs and learns everything he needs going into first grade. He is prepared for that. So in this curriculum, they have also 120 lessons, and it's really cool because in the beginning it has like this little hundreds chart, which we have here, and then he also has one that I printed him off in his book bag. But this also is a spiral curriculum. I think I touched on that, but I don't know if I was clear on that. The whole, like both language arts and the math are spiral curriculum. And yeah, I feel like it does really well. Let me just touch on some of the things that are in here. So we have numbers 1 to 3. That was the first lesson. Of course, he knows that. Like, my son can count to 100. Like, he knows that. We worked on 10 frames. Basically, I'm not even going to touch on, like, numbers 4 to 5. Like, he knows 1 to 100, definitely. So we learned, we didn't learn, he knew. But we talked about order of events, position words, number practice, 10 sticks, plus and equal signs, 10 sticks, counting, addition. It has teen numbers, number line practice, ways to make 5, 1 more, 1 less, shapes, number bonds, subtraction. I don't know if I said that. Tally marks, how to make tally marks. That was something that he picked up this so fast, and I honestly didn't know if he would pick it up, even though this is honestly not a hard concept, but just sometimes my son can tend to, like, I won't say rush through something, but he will, I don't know how to explain that, but basically what I'm saying is that how you write 5 tally marks, he may just write them in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He understood that you do 4 tally marks and then you do the slash through it. So I don't know if that makes sense. Longer, shorter, so like measurements, patterns, which we did a lot of patterns before I got the curriculum. Right and left, he knew that. That's in here though. Introduction to clocks, more matching, estimating, vertical patterns, number patterns, counting by 2s, comparing numbers, the calendar, heavier, lighter, even, odd, double addition, money, counting backwards, subtraction, number bonds. I'm just kind of reading, so I know I'm repeating some of this stuff, but measuring in centimeters and measuring in inches and dividing groups in half, subtraction games, all kinds of stuff. Months of the year, like symmetry, paying for items using cents, and I mean all kinds of things are in here. So most of that stuff, like I said, he knows time and money are the things that we're working on, and he pretty much knows like what each thing is. So I think he'll do good when it comes, like he knows like pennies, he knows that dollars. So I feel like when we get to money, he'll probably do well on that in this book. And then time is something that we're working on because he knows how to tell time on a digital clock, or like if you like, if you look on your phone. So that is that. And then with this course book, if you order it, as the bundle, you get the Math K box, and in here are number dice 1 to 6. Then you have another number dice 7 to 12, 2 equation dice, 2 game pawns, 3 cards, and 15 counting sticks. So these are your counting sticks. I don't know if y'all can see that, but these are your counting sticks. Then you have 3 of these little cards. You have this green one, blue, and yellow. And then you have 2 little game pawns. And then you have your dice with your equations and numbers on them. And then it tells you, I believe it told me in the beginning of this course, in the Unit 1 overview, in the beginning over here under Parent and Teacher Tips, it says, gather 10 of each of the following coins now and put them in the math box. 10 pennies, 10 dimes, 10 nickels. And then you have plenty of time to use these when you get to that part. So I ended up going and getting him this little money set right here. It just has like the money in here, and then it has like some coins, and then it has like items that you could, like, I guess, like if you were going to buy it, how much money would you give, like that. And then have like 2 little credit cards in there. So I just took mine out of that book, and then I just put it down in this little baggie, and it just has like all of my coins that it told me to put in there. So that is everything that comes in the math box. Like I said, your money does not come in your math box, but I added those in. I'm not sure if the older versions, the money came in the math box, because I feel like I seen somebody with it, but I mean, it doesn't bother me. We had that money already, honestly, before I even got the curriculum, because that was, again, I was going over money with him. So I just ended up taking it from that. So this is the math box and the course book for Math K. So altogether you have your language arts and your math. And like I said, so far so good. I love the curriculum. I'm going to touch on more about this curriculum in another video, just where I'm talking about how I feel like it's a good curriculum. This is more so just to show you what I got from my son's kindergarten homeschool. So yeah, so I did a lot of printouts with him in the beginning of the year. We did a lot of reading, and I got, we have this whole bookshelf over here that we read. Oh, and I need to touch on these things really quickly. So The Good and the Beautiful has these My First Reader books. So he has this My First Nature Reader. Then he has this My First Poetry Reader, and then My Level K Africa Reader. So these you don't need for the curriculum, but they can be used alongside the curriculum. And inside them, like we actually, because I didn't order these at the same time that I ordered the curriculum, I ordered these. They have, I don't know if it's still going on, they have a summer reading program where they'll send you free books. And on the site, it was if you buy 5 books, you get free shipping. So I wanted these My First Readers anyway. So this was 3 books that I ordered. And then I ordered book 2 of this. And then I want to say, what was the third? Oh, and then I ordered the 100 books or something. It's like a book that we're going to use next year for his first grade year. But it basically is like a reading log where you track your books that you read. Right, this year I've just been using this as our reading log. And then we finished it, so he gets to get a prize. We'll talk about that. And then he just started this new page. And then in here, he got he got these 2 books for free. Or was it? Yeah, he got these 2 for free. So he got this one, and then he got this one, which this one is a level 1A. So this is really a first grade book, and this is a 3B. When I did it, it was like you could do pre-K to 2nd grade, or pre-K to 1st grade, and it would be like 2nd to 3rd or something like that. I don't remember. But I ended up getting these books, which, I mean, obviously these are both higher level than he is right now. But he actually did pretty good with this one today when we read it. I just had him read the words that he knew, and then I would fill in the words that he didn't. And it's really cute. Let me just show you guys. It's really cute. It just has like cute little illustrations in it. And you know, like I said, like for instance, this sentence right here, he knew how to read "it has a." He didn't know soft, but we could sound that out. He knew rug and a dog. He knew that whole thing. So all I only had to help him with was sounding out soft, and he was able to do that. And then, like I said, to get the free shipping, you had to order 5 books. So I ended up getting these My First Nature readers, and then I ended up getting book 2 of this series just because why not? In these My First Nature readers, we just started this today because it actually gave me a reminder that if I had these books, now would be a good time to practice these. And you could practice it outside of learning time, so like before bed or at breakfast or reading to grandma or whatever. And I was going to do that because I lesson plan every week, so I already knew that it was coming up to remind me that I needed to start using these books. But then there was also, I believe, in the bonus work section of the book, I believe there was a section that said you could read this as a read aloud. So I just had him read this all by himself. He read book 1, which was Cat. And it just has like simple words. Like he was able to read this all by himself. So it's just simple CVC words. He was able to read that. And it was so funny because we learned about exclamation points today. I'm not sure if it was in the course book today or if we learned about it just by our read aloud. I can't remember how that worked. But I told him that when you see an exclamation point, I have this punctuation thing here. And I told him that a punctuation was like a period, because we had learned about periods in the course book. Question mark, apostrophes, parentheses, commas, colons, quotation marks, and exclamation points. So I told him like an exclamation point is used after a sentence that is loud or expresses strong feelings. So then I gave him the example because I would tell him, like, you know, when I would read certain books and I would like when we do our read alouds, I'll read him certain books and I would like be loud at certain parts, and he would like, cause he gets excited cause I read very dramatic when I read to him. So he was like, oh, that's why you do that. So then when he got to this part in the book, he basically read it dramatically because he remembered that an exclamation point that you would read it loudly. So, I mean, again, he read that and then he was able to read that last page. And then I just stopped him here on book 2 because we'll probably just read that tonight just to get him caught up, because I do want him, this coincides with the booster books. So he should be able to read this up to book 7. So inside of this book is a bunch of little tiny books, kind of similar to the booster books, I guess, but it's just in a book. So we love these. And I just keep this one right here, these 2 right here, because we haven't done the poetry or the Africa reader, but we do the nature reader. And I just keep that in this little basket over here. And I keep all his like morning stuff in here, or any of his reading stuff that I know we'll be doing throughout the week. Usually the subjects that I cover with him, I have this little planner here that I got off of Amazon. I know it says 2024, 2025, but honestly, like when I got this for my son. If you see in here, it says Sean pre-K. I got this because I was going to use a planner for his pre-K year, but when I realized that I didn't have a curriculum, honestly, I didn't realize that it was because I didn't have a curriculum. I just realized that I kind of was just doing what I wanted to do. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I didn't really need a planner to plan out stuff that I wasn't even sure that I was going to do. Like I didn't really lesson plan then, because I kind of just like would go on Pinterest or TPT or wherever and find like little sheets to print out and do with him. So I ended up just marking through like the date and then putting like this little sticky thing, and I just have been using this because, like I said, I never used it for his pre-K or the beginning of his kindergarten year. So I just marked through that, and then I'm just using it for the Monday through Friday. And then I am not like, so there's different ways that you can plan. I lesson plan every Sunday, and you can backwards plan, which is where you write down all the stuff that you did end up doing, or you can just plan out what you want to do. And for me, I feel like planning out what I want to do is better for me. I feel like it works better for me because I'm able to see every day what I'm supposed to do with him to keep him on track, to keep him, like, make sure we get through this curriculum by our deadline that we want to get through. And if we don't, that's fine, but just keeps us on track, and then highlighting it works for me. I feel like for me, if I were to write down everything that we ended up doing, like as in reverse planning, I feel like number one, I would probably get lazy and not end up writing it down, just because it's like whatever, like it's done. Like when we're done with school, I need to turn off and I need to just relax and do something else besides school. But don't get me wrong, I love teaching my son, I love it, but you need to just like unwind. So for me, reverse planning just wouldn't work for me. I'd rather have it marked through it, and if I don't get it done, if I don't like finish it, then I just don't highlight it and I move it over to the following week. So this has worked really good. On the side here, it's like a little list of stuff that I just randomly will write down for things that I need to do. Like I knew I needed to have index cards. I needed to make this video. I needed to make sure that we did the nature readers, whether that's during our lesson or tonight before bed or whatever. Then I wanted to also come up with some Bible affirmations for him that I can like print out and laminate for him so we can start doing that. And then I wanted to make his flashcards, which I'll show y'all that in a second. And then I also need to I wrote down like things that I need to do this week. Like I want to go to Staples. I need to get some pens in Target and all kinds of stuff because I want to get, like I said, a wicker basket. So anyway, I just write down like things that I know I need to do that pertain to school for him. So yeah, that is what I do. I use my old planner, and I also ordered, I can't wait for this planner that I ordered to come. It's a Mardell planner. I'll put a picture up probably right here. But yeah, so when that planner comes, I will show y'all like how I do my lesson planning. But I kind of just told y'all, but you'll see more in depth. I got a bunch of these bins. So he has purple, pink, and blue, and then this, I don't even know if you can see this color down here. And then I got this because he usually does his like counting sticks in here so they don't like slide off his desk. So we got that, and we got all that from the dollar store. So now I want to touch on these workbooks that I got for him. So every day, morning starter, morning basket, we're going to do our morning starter. And all of these workbooks I got from the dollar store, like Dollar Tree. So they were like $1.25, and they work really good for him. So every day he'll do this page, and I'm going to show you on this side so you can see. He'll write his name, and then he will tell you today is, so he'll circle the day of the week. He'll trace the letters, and then he'll circle all the Q's in the line, and then color the pictures that begin with Q. Then he'll have 2 words of the day. He'll have sentences where you'll use those 2 words, and then he'll have like some type of activity, sound, or math or something at the bottom. Like today was like a sequence, so he had to label 1 through 5 cars. He does this fast. That's what I said, like really he's mastered most of the kindergarten skills that he needs to have. So this is something that he does every morning, and he does really well with that, and I really love that. I ended up actually picking him up this for 1st grade, so that will go because at the top it'll say like level K. So I picked that up for him for 1st grade, and he'll do that. And then I just started doing this with him. It's just a phonics book where it's like consonant sounds D through F. Then you have consonant sounds X through Z, J through K, N through P. Like I'm saying them out of order, but it's because I'm kind of scrolling through S through T. So basically consonant sounds, vowel sounds, and more consonant blends. And then it has, actually, I didn't even know that it has the answers in the back, because it has like different activities. So basically every day I just make him do a letter a day. So he'll trace like whatever letter he's doing, and then he'll write the beginning sound for like the pictures on the first part. And then you also have like some other little activities and things like that he can do. So this is just basically about phonics. So consonant and vowel sounds, consonant blends, sounding it out, and rhyming words. And we do these 2 workbooks we do every day since we got the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. Then I also picked up this from the dollar store. It's just a step-by-step doodle and draw book, and it's the Grow and Garden one. Just because it's springtime, and he is really trying to grasp like the concept of drawing, and he's really into it. So I don't let him do it inside the book, just because I want to be able to reuse until he gets better, because I want to show him that over time, as he continues to practice, he will get better. So like he drew this fish, he did it on another paper. These are some of the things that he's going to end up drawing in the book. So they have a bunch of them. You can collect them all. Usually we do this at least once a week, where he like does that. And that's just to like give him something fun to do while we're doing, because I don't want his summer to be like just, you know, hammering in like core subjects. At the end of his K year, so I guess maybe in this end of August or right before we start his first grade curriculum, I'm gonna have him do this test prep level K. Also got this at the dollar store, and it just has like all kinds of things in here, and then it has the answer key in the back. So this is also a good little workbook that I found at the dollar store. And then these are, well, not this one. This is another one that has sight words in it, and I'm just going to have him do that. I'll start doing it with him as he is doing these words. I think I want to at least get through Unit 1 in his Good and the Beautiful course book before I start that. So I haven't started that with him. But these are the ones that I've had for years. When I first decided to homeschool him, I picked these up, and I knew that they were like different grade levels, but I always just pick up, I think the dollar store always has great workbooks for kids. So this one, even though this is grade 1 on here, it says ages 6 to 7. He is 6, and he pretty much knew this one just because he, like I said, he knows his letter sounds. So it'll basically have like this one had like A-N, and then he had to put for a fan. Or this one is pie. He had to put a P, and it had the I-E. So even if he doesn't know, like, he knows like that says pie because it's a picture, but like even if he didn't know, like if I asked him right now, how do you spell pie, even though he's done this, he knows letter sounds. So that was like beginning sounds, and then it has like ending sounds, and it'll have like a review, words with short I, all kinds of stuff like that. So I honestly will probably start looking through these just to see like where we'll be doing like I know we're about to do sounds with short A. I know we're about to do that next week, so I might go in here and find that page and have him do this page as extra. These workbooks are also like, let's say if I am not able to do school with my son for whatever reason. I'm always able to do school with him, but for whatever reason, if I'm not able to do school, then these are good workbooks for my mom to grab and just do with him. So that was the spelling puzzles, and then he has this Kinder Scholar where it'll ask like in each row, circle the 2 pictures that make a pair. So he circled the first one and the last one, and so on and so forth. Big or small, left or right, top, bottom, rhyme, the two pictures that rhyme. It just has good stuff in it. So I got that one from him. And then he has this numbers and counting one where there'll be like a number. You'll trace the number, I believe. Yeah, you'll trace the number, and then you'll trace the word for the number. And then it'll have like circle 7 pieces of fruit that are the same. And up here you'll probably count, like I think it'll be like count how many squirrels you see, and then count how many acorns you see. So it'll be like something like that. So these 3 are really good. And like I said, if we don't finish these, I'm not going to stress myself because my daughter can use these or my nephew can use these. So I'm not going to really stress myself because my nephew will be going into pre-K. So I did also pick him up some books, but that's a video for another day. So I'm not going to talk about the pre-K things in this video. But these are the workbooks that I've been using with him. I just printed him off my phone number so he could learn that. He pretty much knows it, but he kind of just like mixes up the numbers sometimes. So we're doing that, and I'll pop up on the screen the little thing that I made for him. And I also might be having this book available for purchase soon. I also just picked up this whiteboard. I kind of want to get a whiteboard with no lines on it, but I feel like these lines also help him with like his writing, like staying inside the lines and things like that. So I might not end up doing that. He has a Spider-Man book bag, so he has his Spider-Man thing. And then this was day 1 of him drawing that fish that we talked about earlier, and then I just made like different squares so when we do it, he will know. And then I have this I know my address, and this was like one of the things that we would do in the beginning of the year. I told you like he would do full pages like this of like his name, numbers, letters, all one letter, so it'd be like all A's or all B's, but this one was the one that had like all the letters on them. So he's used to doing handwriting. And then also I purchased this Graceful by Design. Yeah, Graceful by Design grooved handwriting practice books. So you use these pens and then they automatically erase, and then come with these little pencil or pen things where you learn like that pencil grasp when holding a pencil. So it had that in it. And then I'm just going to show you really quickly. This was the grooved handwriting practice workbook for letters and first words, patterns, colors, and logic, drawing and logic, and then adding and subtraction, and then names and shapes. So all of these came in here, and these books worked really good for him. You know, I don't think we ever really went through all of them because he had been doing writing since he was like before pre-K probably. So he didn't really need, I feel like he could have learned without these, but they are really good. I did use them on my nephew. He like I said, he's going into pre-K and he hadn't really done a lot of writing, so they did work for him. And they just kind of have like these grooves in them, so it kind of keeps you like going with the flow of how the letters are shaped, and it's just really good. Like I think they work good, and I would definitely, you know, get them again if I, you know, needed to. But I'm going to save these ones for my daughter because, like I said, my son is pretty much past this point. They just came in like this little box, and I believe I either got these off of Amazon or TikTok. I can't really remember. They were like viral on TikTok for a while, so that's honestly probably where I got them from. But sometimes I go and look up things on TikTok, on Amazon, just because it's better for me. I don't know. Sometimes this, I may have purchased those from Amazon. I'm not sure. All right, and then these are like some of his flashcards that I have made and some that I have bought. So these are the list that are words that we haven't talked about yet. And then these are the ones that we have. So these were in that booster book A, these are those words and the sound. So the beginning sound, ha, remember I said ha, and then all of the ha words are in there. And then it has the ka, did, and hit. So all of those, the sound, I have the sound flashcard, and then I have the words here. Whatever the first and second booster reading books were, I have both sound and the actual cards. I feel like it was better for him to go through and do it this way just because it allowed him to see it without me having to cover it up and stuff. So I feel like, or I could give him these and tell him like, go over these, and he really got it. So you don't have to do this, just what I did. I just printed them off, made them up, and then printed them off, and then I laminated and cut them out. So those are those words. And then this is like his first group of sight words. I took these are like ones that I didn't make, that I had in a pack of sight word things, and then like I had to add this one in there because it wasn't in that group, and then I had to add me in there because it wasn't in that group either, so I added that one. And then these are the rest of them are just that group of words. So that is his first group of sight words that he has already done and already mastered. And then this is the second group of words that I don't think these were sight words. I think these were just a part of a lesson, so I just ended up printing them off because you had to like play a game where if it tells me to write it down on an index card, 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna make it a flashcard, just because this is like laminated. It's gonna last longer. I'll be able to use these with my daughter when she does level K, and I'll be able to like we could spill things on these or whatever, and they're gonna last. So if it tells me to write it down on an index card, I'm always gonna laminate it, print it out, and keep it going. So yeah, these are the words that he had in his lesson today, which are also kind of like sight words, but these are the words with that S says Z. So dogs, as, is, his, has, and was. So all of the S's say Z. And these are some of the extra words that I just printed off that I know are frequently words that he's going to read, whether that's in his booster books, his nature book, or somewhere in the curriculum. So these are all my little flashcards so far, and I just keep them in this little pouch that again I found at the dollar store, and I know that I'm going to get more in here as the curriculum goes on. But this was one of the things that later on I watched this video of this mom. She had gone back and forth from The Good and the Beautiful to Logic of English Foundations. And when she tried Foundations, she didn't really like it because it wasn't really like open and go. You had to do a little bit more of a like lesson planning with that. and Good and the Beautiful was just open and go. Like you could literally take it with you outside, take it with you in the car, open and go. Like it's, you just pick it up, open it, and just go with the lesson. So she had said that she wished that the Good and the Beautiful would add phonogram cards where, like, for instance, it tells you like A makes the 3 sounds a, That was also something that I was looking at because I know another mom who uses foundations, and I was thinking like maybe I should switch for his 2nd grade year. But I'm one of those people, like, I don't want to do a lot of switching around. Like if it's working for us, we're going to stick with it. If it wasn't working, it would be worth me looking into to switch. But what I'm going to do is you can just order those phonogram cards off of Logical English website. And I'm just going to order those phonogram cards, and we're just going to go through them. So I'll just hold up the card. He can tell me the 3 sound or however many sounds that letter makes. And we're just going to work that into the curriculum, because that was the one thing that I will say. It did tell him though, like when we got to was, it did in the booster books. And again, I'm not finished the whole curriculum, so I can't say whether or not it's going to talk about it at some point. But it did say on was, it tells you, like, there's a little sticky mark here, and it says explain that A in was makes the sound. So it tells you that, but it's just not something that, like, I feel like for my son, if I could do his flashcards of phonograms with him, he would know that, okay, he in his head, he would do, like, if he didn't know how to spell or how to say was, he would do was, ways, was. And then I would ask him which one sounds right, and then he would say was, because that's normally how I do, like when it's a word that he don't know and I tell him to sound it out. Or like if it, like in his book, a lot of times it'll say like, it'll be a picture and it'll say like all of these are names, and it'll be like B and D, like you'll have to, because today we did B and D, and it was like it had like the little thing, it says EN. So do you put Ben or Den as a person's name? So of course, you know, Den is a word, but so he would say Ben because that would be a person's name. So just little stuff like that, I feel would help and do help him within the curriculum. Some of the other things that I have, I also made this calendar. Let me just grab it right here. I made this. So it was just this whiteboard calendar that we had. We used to use it for like a family calendar to write like different like birthdays or vacations or whatever on Christmas time, and we would do it and we would decorate it with the dry erase markers for each holiday and things. So I just ended up, we don't really use it anymore, so I just ended up making it into his calendar. I ended up printing off all this stuff, so like every month, you know, I change it out and I just put like magnets on the back, and then days of the week numbers, and then it will say yesterday was, today is, tomorrow is, and he'll do that. For in spring, he'll tell me the weather, whether it's warm, cool, hot, or cold, and then the weather: sunny, rainbow, partly cloudy, windy, rainy, sunny. I'm sorry, stormy, cloudy, and sunny. And then these are like the days of the week that we swap out, and then it just says let's have a great day. So I just do this with him every day. This is also a part of his morning basket. And then I also have a laminator. This is the laminator that I use. I love it. It's very inexpensive and it works great. I use the Amazon basic sheets or something with it, because I think the ones it came with like a few, and then I ended up running out of those, so then I just got the basic ones. I don't know if I ordered them at the same time, but this is the laminator that I use. And then I also have markers and highlighters and pens that I keep in these little things I got from the dollar store. Sticky notes, more markers, and I keep those in there. I don't know, can y'all see the markers? And then pencil sharpeners. I have this whole little container that I keep like my dry erase markers, extra pencils and pens, and more dry erase markers, and my little tabby things that I use for, you know, marking things, some little paper clips, rubber bands, thumbtacks, erasers, tape, paper clips, all kinds of stuff that I just keep in this little spinny bin. And I want to get and also scissors. I don't know if I said that, but I want to get like a little desk. I'm doing my research. Well, I'm shopping around to find like just a little desk that I could put right here to put all this stuff on. I don't know if y'all can see, but down here we have my organs, my body, my bones, and parts of speech. All those. I have a whole bunch of stuff down here that we're going to talk about next year, because that's for next year. I'm also going to talk about that my body, my organ stuff in that first grade video that I do, but that's just to touch on that. And then I have this blue bin, like I said, dollar store, with a whole bunch of like coloring books in here, because he likes to color. And then his little Spider-Man notebook that he does things in sometimes. And then, like I said, we utilize our local library. This is Three Little Pigs. This is Dream Big Little One. Then this one is Harper Handles Big Feelings, Lessons for Littles on Angers, Worries, or Other Frustrations. So we got that one. Then we also got this We Belong Together book. Most of these are books actually that I've had in my Amazon forever that I just didn't end up getting. So we read them, and now what ones we like we'll buy, and you know. And then this one is I Am Smart, I Am Blessed, I Can Do Anything. Then we have a classic, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. So that's a classic. I absolutely wanted to read this one to him, along with this one, Rainbow Fish, because these were like two of my favorites when I was a kid. So we read these two and he enjoyed those. And then this one, You Can Be a Good Friend No Matter What. This one is, you know, a good one. That was by Taraji P. Henson. So I wanted to read that one. That was in my Amazon cart. And then Nani Ninja Takes a Bath. He enjoyed this one as well. So these books actually need to go back to the library. We'll be taking those back soon. For a time, I ended up getting, one of my mom friends gave me this clock here. And I had this one. It's kind of like the shapes go in and, you know, 1, 2, 3. And it's just, you know. So I had this one when we first started like doing time before we got our curriculum. And then she had this one, and I really like this one because not only does it have the numbers, it has like labels for like the 5, 10, 15, quarter past, half past, and quarter to. And it has the hour and minutes hand. So I feel like this one is like really good, and he'll probably do really great with this along with my daughter, because they both will be able to use this. And then another thing that I found at the dollar store were these crayons. So they are like, they have like a little groove in there. You learn that pencil grasp for writing. They do pretty good. Like they write just as good as the name brand. And this is from the dollar store. So, I mean, do what you want with that, but dollar store. If you have littles, pre-K and under, even kindergarten, because my son likes these. I don't know if it's the shape or because they're cool or whatever. He liked these. I bought them for my nephew. And he was like, oh, these are cool. I like them. And then my son, when I tell you, my son has so many broken crayons in his pencil pouch. And, you know, I would go through and I would just get all the broken ones out and put them up, because I was thinking maybe we could do like a broken crayon activity where we like melt them down and make a candle or something. I don't know. I'll have to find like little activities that we could possibly do with broken crayons. But I ended up going and picking up these scented twistable crayons. And you just twist them. I'm sure y'all seen these before, but these work so much better. These are not getting broke. We keep them in this pouch. We close them up. Easy, simple, and we just pull them out each day when we need them. And they have been working really good for him. I don't have no more broken crayons. They stay in the pouch, so they stay organized. They all stay there. And that has just been working for us. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you have littles, get them twistable crayons. And then he has all kinds of markers and all kinds of other things and stuff in his book bag and stuff. But that pretty much wraps up this video. I know I've rambled a lot, and I don't want this video to be too long. It's already like an hour long. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment box. I would love to answer any questions that you guys may have. Like I said, I have my son who's 6 and my daughter who's 2. So she will probably be starting some stuff. She'll be doing some stuff with us probably next year or the year after. I'll do little things with her. Just like, you know, simple stuff like colors and things like that. But yeah, I really do love everything that I've done so far for him. I love the curriculum. I look forward to getting the next level for him. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you like it and hit the subscribe button. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.